Hi, my name is Maritza Gallaga and welcome to CISD Community Connections. Today we have Dr. David Anthony. He is the Chief Executive Officer for Raise Your Hand Texas. Welcome, Dr. Anthony, and thank you for being with us today.
It's great to be in Harlingen again.
Well, thank you. And so can you tell us a little bit about Raise Your Hand Texas, what your organization does and your goals?
Well, Raise Your Hand Texas is a nonprofit organization that was founded by Charles Butt, who owns H-E-B Groceries, because he wants every one of the 5 million plus children in Texas to have a quality education. And so we began back in late 06, and each year we've added programs and quality to what it is that we do. We invest in helping to develop great campus administrators by sending about 100 to Harvard every year. We scholarship them, pay all expenses, select them through a very rigorous process, and we send 30 to Rice University. It's a 13-month program where they attend school or college at the Jones Business School at Rice. They don't have a college of education. And they go Thursday night, Friday, Saturday about 10 times a year, and then a 2-week summer program. It's really a great program as well. We have provided executive coaches at our expense or the organization's expense for 15 campuses across the state that are rural, suburban, urban, and city campuses, 15 campuses that should be performing better than they are. And this is the first year we've done that, a leadership expansion project, and it's been very positive. And we've invested in Lubbock ISD with helping them to trend upwards with their development, and some on literacy, but a lot on principal development, executive coaching. And then in addition, we spend a lot of money on lobbying and working with the legislature and developing policy and research, and having meetings like we're going to attend today, where we just talk about how important it is to invest in public education for the future of Texas, quality of life, and quality of our economic independence in Texas.
And I know it's been a lot, you've helped so many school districts in Texas. Can you tell us about some of the past experiences that you've had specifically with HCISD? Well,
the most experience we've had with HCISD has been coming down and working in the community. Mr. McShann has helped to set up meetings where we can talk to leaders and community members in Harlingen about what is going on, the political landscape, policies that are being considered, changes in education. There's a lot of talk about reform movements, and just helping them to understand that if you are voting and are engaged, then certainly you're doing what is right for the children of the state. I think there have been some of the principals who have been selected to participate in a Harvard program, and we've had several principals come together as a group and just trying to keep them as part of the alumni cohort up to speed on what's going on, even though they attended the Harvard program maybe several years ago. We had several of them in January attend a leadership symposium that we hosted and paid expenses for in Dallas this year. So, what we're trying to do is work through principals and work through community leaders to focus on the quality of education for every one of the students in the state, regardless of their economic means, their ethnicity, religion. It doesn't matter. They are the future of this state.
And I know you said you work very closely with Mr. McShann. How do you work with board members, not only here, but kind of across Texas?
Well, that's a great question, because if you really want to change the face of education in Texas, it will be through the 8,000 plus board members across the state that are all duly elected by the voting public, and PTAs. I mean, those people touch everyone. So we do try to work with board members and keep them informed on what's going on, and ask them for support in certain policies that will be beneficial to students, such as in the last legislative session, Senate Bill 2 and House Bill 5, two landmark pieces of legislation. House Bill 5 reduced the amount of testing for high school kids. It also changed the graduation plan, provided greater flexibility for students, for districts, and we think, Raise Your Hand Texas thinks, that in the future with data analysis, it will prove to be one of the best things we've done for kids. They can go through a 4x4 program if they choose, but they can also choose to focus on whatever really interests them for their future post-secondary education and training. And then Senate Bill 2 was making sure we have a really robust system of charter schools. If we're going to have charters, and charters are public schools, they need to be robust, and there needs to be accountability, and there needs to be a well-planned, formulated growth program for them. And I think we did that. And so it wouldn't have happened without partnerships from across the state and parents, with Texans advocating for meaningful student assessment, TAMSA, a group of moms, and then the School Boards Association, administrators, and parents just pulling together for the benefit of their children and the children of Texas.
And for our parents and community members who are interested in getting involved, how can they do that?
Well, you know, the best way they can do that is locally. What we want parents to do and understand is if they focus on their local schools and get involved volunteering and voting in the elections, staying informed, then we'll help them network across the state. Having a statewide organization is tough, but it's only as good as every local school district. And so we encourage parents to get engaged in their local schools, to support their kids, but to support the district, find out what's going on, stay abreast of the news. And then if they have time, get on the website or sign up for our tweets, sign up for our on Facebook, or sign up and raise your hand, Texas, and follow the research that we're doing. We're in the process of doing some major research on issues that are going to come up in this legislative session, whether it's Achievement School District or turning around failing schools, whether it's pre-kindergarten. We're doing some quality research with like Columbia University, University of Virginia, partnering with major research organizations and colleges so that we can have quality research that's not just done by me and 2 or 3 other people in the back room. This will be very high quality and very beneficial. So we just want parents as engaged as possible. Every parent and every taxpayer has a vested interest in Harlingen and every other school district. They all pay taxes, and their quality of their community is dependent on the quality of their school system. And you can look across the state and find failing systems of schools, and you'll see that community property values drop, houses can't be sold, and the quality of life is significantly impacted. So education and the economy are just definitely linked, and especially in the local community, parents and taxpayers have an opportunity to make a huge impact and control their destiny by investing in their public education. It helps their kids, but it also helps their quality of life.
And with the research that you spoke about, with that and your experience in education, where do you see the future of Texas public education going? Well,
I see it as positive. I think there are a lot of things going on with people talking about reform. And some of the reforms, we say they're not bad. And some of them we have questions about, but that causes people to think and to do analysis. If no one ever challenges anyone else, then everybody just rocks along on the same level playing field. But when you're challenged, you have to become better prepared at what you truly believe, and you have to look at things from an informed view, and then you may say, you know what, that really adds value. So I think there's I think having the challenges out there, having the reform movement out there causes everyone to think, and we simply will do a better job as long as we're ever mindful that we're making decisions based on student needs, not on adults' egos.
And so with the future kind of in your mind, how can we as citizens and organizations come together to create a better future for our students?
Well, I think, when you hear things like blended education or virtual education or achievement school districts, or when you look at districts that have multiple delivery methods for instruction, you need to figure out what that really means. What are you talking about? And so blended education is combining traditional teacher-student education with bringing in virtual education to add value. Virtual education could be standalone, but unless people really know what it is and know that do we want a virtual system where the state of Texas just pays a virtual education company to provide opportunities for kids to enroll. If they get it, good. If there's very little oversight, good. No, that's not what we're about. So I just think the staying engaged and informed and figuring out what those terms are when people start throwing them around, making sure you know what they're talking about, because all ideas aren't good. All ideas aren't bad either. But you never know that until you get engaged. So I think you're going to see an education system that has greater flexibility. I think you're going to see one that has multiple methods of delivering instruction, whether it's a CMO or a district-owned charter-managed operator like IDEA or KIP or Yes Prep or Harmony, or a district that says, you know what, we're forming our own charter school. And the Board of Trustees can form it, and we're going to do it with technology, or we're going to do it with arts, we're going to do it with CTE, career and technical education. We're going to have our own charter. Or we're going to use blended, we're going to have a virtual high school, we're going to have school that is before school and after school, 24 hours, 24/7, which a lot of the kids learn that way. So I think you're going to see public education structurally change and improve over the next 5 years.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Anthony, and for your passion for our students and the students across Texas. And thank you everyone for joining us for Community Connections. I'm Maritza, Gallaga, and this is Dr. David Anthony, Chief Executive Officer of Raise Your Hand Texas. Thank you.